call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.
What up? Welcome back once again to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones. And in this one, let's go ahead and add one more figure to my McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. Now, today we will take a look at Joker from the Deadly Duo. Now, this is a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive, coming directly from the people at McFarlane Toys. Now, I know a lot of people are probably on the fence about this figure being a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive, and some would say maybe a little bit pricey, but we're going to go ahead and take an honest look at this, see what I think, and see if it's, basically worth it. Now, it does come differently packaged than your standard DC Multiverse release. They do come in a collector box. Pretty nice artwork on the back of this box. And once you slip it open, he does look pretty psychotic in the packaging. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at him. But first, he does not come with your standard black DC Multiverse stand, but he does come with this huge display stand, pretty big platform. Underneath, you do have some plug holes. So I'm kind of interested to see what that's all about. So, like, if this were to sit on something, it actually has plugs where this would sit on there. So, that's that's a little bit open-ended. We'll have to wait and see what that's all about. You do have some pegs here, a little tiny peg, and then your standard McFarlane foot peg. Pretty interesting. We'll have to hold on to this and see what it's all about. He also does come with a collector card. Not necessarily a data file card, but you do have that same image from the box on the front. The Joker, Batman, Deadly Duo. Pretty nice artwork. And on the back, you do have some certification of authenticity. Not numbered, which is rather interesting, but yeah. I'm not a real big number collector, or it doesn't really matter to me. So we'll just go ahead and add this to the collection. Now, he does come with an alternate head of Joker, which I have to say looks like one of the more maniacal and insane, but also comic book accurate Joker heads that we've received. So pretty cool. We'll hold on to this. He also does come with a sort of like a Jokerized vampire bat, kind of looks like. So that's pretty interesting. I'm sure the little hole on the bottom does match up with the little peg on the stand. And then you also get this big display card that on one side has the image of that sort of gimp masked Joker, and on the back you have an image of the gates of Arkham Asylum. Now, we do know what McFarlane kind of thinks people want to do, which is put this on here, add the little vampire to the display, and then place your figure on there. Anybody that's trying to scrape up any space that they have for their collection isn't really going to use this. I do have a good amount of space, but I'm not going to use it. I'm basically just going to add this one to the shelf like I usually do. And on the back, you have the Arkham one, which I figure would be to display the Arkham head, if that's what you would like to do. So really appreciate the thoughtfulness and that, McFarlane added there, but not going to be using this. Pretty cool to have the cards, though. You never know. In the future, things may change, and I may, change my mind about how I display these. But for right now, let's go ahead and take a more detailed look at this guy. First impressions are already, I could tell you that it's basically just a reuse of some of the Joker bodies that we've gotten before. To me, this is sort of looking like, let's go ahead and bring out one of my sleeper, actually favorite Jokers, which is the Criminal from the Three Jokers. Basically, same body, same jacket, same gloves, same shoes with the spats on them. Everything's the same. The only difference is going to be the undershirt. You could see how this one has more of like a sort of frilly hanging bow tie. Uh, Pretty unique to this figure. We haven't seen that before, but does not take away from the fact that this is basically just a reuse. Now, it does have a more sort of matte or flat purple color to it, which is pretty nice, pretty different change of pace. Although I will say that the undershirt and the gloves have a more sort of darker and dreary feeling paint to them, which actually might fit with this neurotic looking Joker. Now, one other thing I do notice right away is once again, the head sits pretty low on the body. I do not know what the problem is, or maybe it's just me. Though when I look at these, the head just looks really like shrunken down on the shoulders. Once again, what's cool is that these heads actually pop off pretty easily, mostly because the way they come with an alternate head, they're actually made to pop off. And when you push the head down, you don't necessarily have to shove it all the way down, which leaves the head a little bit higher and just gives a more pleasing look to me that I actually prefer. But besides that, I mean, just another Joker figure. For me, actually, I could never get enough Jokers. All the Jokers you want to put out, bring them on. And of course, we know for villains, Joker actually sells a lot better than a lot of the other villains. Although this is not a retail figure, this is, supposedly aimed more at collectors. I do like the sort of, I want to say, like funhouse feel that this gives with that real creepy sort of S&M mask with the zippers and all that. Now, I do not know anything about the storyline or anything from the comics about the Deadly Duo. I did look up a little bit of images that looked really interesting, and I can't, say enough about the artwork. I just don't know too much about the storyline to even talk about it. But all in all, really interesting looking Joker. Take a closer look at that head sculpt with the mask. Pretty nice, intricate sculpt. You do have some buckles that are not painted in. Mostly they just painted in the zippers from the eyes and the mouth. So I'm pretty sure if you were to paint up those buckles, it'll give it a little bit more pop and life to have just that contrast of silver with the dark. Not necessarily a black. This is more like a really deep, dark purple, which fits with the figure. I would actually prefer like a glossy, shiny black to represent like sort of a vinyl. But I mean, could end up painting it or not. It just depends what I feel like. But I really do like the creepiness of this head sculpt. Now, as I said before, you can lift up the head by popping it off and not pushing it all the way down, which will give them a little bit more movement and range. But for our intents and purposes, first off, let's look at the articulation. He does look down a good amount. Surprisingly, he looks up as well, without even popping up the head, he still looks up. You got right to left. And of course, you could tilt his head for some creepy character. Now, you might not know it, but this actually appeals to me, this sort of headgear that he has on. Pretty disturbing, but also gives it a little bit of mystique. So I really like that. Not really going to go over too much of the articulation because this is the same Joker that we've gotten before. You got, the arm moves around. One thing I will say is when you look at the wrist, they did go with a purple wrist ball joint. I really wish that they would have went with a sort of gray ball joint, which is what the gloves are painted as. It's just a preference that I have. I mean, it's not a big deal, but when you do manipulate the wrist right away, you do see that purple underneath. And I don't necessarily think that matches up. So I really wish that they would have went with a, a ball joint that matched the gloves. I think would have worked a little bit better because as you could see, the cuffs make your mind think that there shouldn't be any more purple, going down. And once you move the wrist, you do expose that purple color underneath. But not a big negative. It's just something I would prefer. Now, one thing I do have to point out, and that, this could be a big negative to some people, the joints, like the elbow joints and the pins, and of course the knee joints and the pins, are not matching. Now, this has been a big problem even with other Joker releases. Even this criminal Joker never really matched up exactly. Now, that could be another deterrent for you to want to pick this up. But for me, I actually don't mind it as much, and if I ever really wanted to, I could end up just trying to match the paint. Because if you paint the pins and like, let's say the knee joint, that has a tendency to not have any rub off because they're kind of floating on the joint. So if you were to paint these, you wouldn't have to be necessarily afraid of any paint rub. So that's a bonus if you were to want to try and match the color. But for me, it's not that big of a deal. Just another cool Joker figure to add to the collection. Pretty awesome. I do like how they did the shoes with the spats matching the same black color. I mean, it's something simple and actually pretty cheap. They didn't have to waste any paint, but I actually like black on black. It's just something, I like a lot of things all black. It's just my preference, my favorite non-color. Pretty cool. I have a little peak of orange to give it a little pop and life underneath the jacket. So that's a nice touch. But all in all, pretty simple figure to take a look at. Now, of course, you do have the alternate Joker head. And you know me, I always have that rule where I must display both heads. And other than cry about it, that you guys whine so much that you wanted alternate heads, and now you're forcing me to have to buy two figures, I just go ahead and buy the two figures, and it does not bother me at all. So I did buy two of these so that I could have one to pose my Joker head. And actually, while doing this, I found this knife. I think it might be from the New Frontier Joker, but it just fit in this guy's hand so well. I mean, it just like fit like a glove. And I just really needed him to hold on to something. It just felt like he needed something to finish him up. And I thought that this big, oversized Bowie blade actually works really well. But now I can display both heads. You can lift up the heads to give a little bit more freedom of articulation and just make the whole aesthetic of the figure look really well. So, I mean, like I said, can't get enough Jokers. That is not a problem. I did want to try another head on the body just to see what it looks like. So I ended up putting this clown Joker from the same Three Jokers wave as the criminal Joker. One of my favorite Jokers, actually, as well. So, as you can see, I've been saying my favorite Joker because I do like the Joker as a character, really interesting and mentally complex character. So I just thought I'd throw this head on this body for fun just to see how it looked. And it is interesting that now we have so many Jokers that if anybody wanted to actually, kit bash together their ultimate Joker, it would be pretty interesting. Now, this Joker head is really, gives you that bats in the belfry sort of feeling, a psychopath. Really like the head sculpt. The eyes are really intense, which I thought was rather awesome. Doesn't look like any of the other Joker heads that we've received before, so that is a positive. And of course, you could match up any of these if you have an extra, Batman laying around. So all in all, is it worth it? If you're a crazy collector like me, then it's worth it. But do you necessarily need this one? Like if you already have the Clown Joker or if you have the Rebirth Joker, you don't necessarily need these. But me, as a completist and a collector, I just had to have these. So pretty awesome. They do look good back to back. Each one has their own little character feel. I did go ahead and add that Joker bat to this guy's hands just so he can have something to hold on to. But both really, really fun. And I, for one, am totally satisfied to add them to my collection. So they'll look awesome up there on the shelf. You guys keep hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.
They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.